Hi, Claude Whitacre here. I'm a sales trainer and a speaker, and I talk to groups of salespeople and groups of people that own their own businesses. If you're the type of person whose income is determined by how much you sell, you might be able to learn something from this. A lot of times when I'm speaking, somebody will ask me from the audience about various parts of selling, and something that's a real big misconception in selling is somebody will ask something about gaining rapport, and they'll say, Claude, how do you gain rapport? As if it's a technique, as if gaining rapport is a step in the sale. And unfortunately, a lot of times when you talk to sales trainers and you read sales books and all that, a lot of times they'll talk about gaining rapport as a step in the sale. They'll say, like, first you go into a guy's office and the first thing you do is gain rapport, and you want to talk about his interests and what he does and all that. That's okay. I mean, you can ask him if the guy fishes and he's got a big fish on the wall. You can ask him how he got the fish if you want. I don't tend to do that. The only reason I don't tend to do that is for two reasons. One is I'm the 150th person that's asking him about that fish. Okay? So what I'll do usually if I see a picture of a kid or something like that, or if I see like an award, if that's a picture of like a child, you don't go, what a lovely child. You don't do that because that sounds silly. But if he's got like a baseball, his kid has a softball or baseball award or something like that, I might mention, so how old is your son? He'll say 9 years old, and I'll say, how many do you have? Many kids? And I'll go, yeah, I have 3 kids. Okay, what are their ages? And he'll tell me, and I might say something like, what are they learning at that age? I'm a little bit older. Frankly, I can't remember when I was 9 years old what I was learning. What are they learning now that they're like 9 years old? Because that's how old his kid is. And he'll tell me for a minute. All right. Well, that's enough of that. But during the entire presentation, you are gaining rapport. It's not a step and then you stop doing it and then you go on to the presentation. You're gaining rapport during the entire time that you're talking. It's not so much, gaining rapport is not so much that you have things in common. Gaining rapport is the person feels that you're talking about their best interests, that you're thinking about them and not just making a sale. You're thinking what's the best thing for them. You're fitting your product to meet their needs. That you are trustworthy, that you can be counted on to deliver. I mean, those are things that's rapport to me. Okay, it's not just being a friend of somebody. I got to tell you, I've got a lot of friends that I probably wouldn't do much business with because we're friendly and we like each other and everything like that. But they're not business people that I would believe we're going to deliver. See, so you have to be the kind of person that the customer believes is going to deliver. They have to feel comfortable dealing with you, meaning that you didn't say something insulting to them or you didn't act like you're not a serious business person. But rapport a lot of times is misconstrued as like being friendly and joking and things like that. I have a question for you. The last time you went to the doctor, or let's say the last time you went to a new doctor. So the doctor, you've just met the doctor and you sit down and he's going to ask you a few questions. You have a cold and he wants to help you with your cold. And you're talking about your cold. I have a question for you. Did he tell you 5 jokes when you first met him and you sit down in his office? Did he tell you 5 jokes? No. Why? Doesn't he care about rapport? Well, of course he cares about rapport. But you know what? You're not there for that. You know what you're there for? You're there to get your problem solved. See? Being nice, being polite, listening. You want to build rapport with somebody? Listen to what they're saying. Ask them a question and listen very intently to what they're saying for 2 reasons. One is when somebody starts telling you something and you ask them a question and they're giving you the answer. When you are actively listening, that's a good compliment to pay that person. If you ask somebody's opinion, that's a great compliment that you're paying that person. You're saying that their opinion matters, and then you listen to what they're saying to you. That does 2 things. First of all, believe me, when you're talking to somebody and you're telling them about you and your problems and all that, it's almost impossible to not like that person you're talking to. It's almost impossible to not think that person's a great conversationalist. Why? Because you're the one talking. See, if you're talking and they're listening, to most people that makes a great conversation. All right? The other thing, though, it does is it gives you information so that if you're talking to somebody about his interests, and he might just come right out and tell you the 2 or 3 things you need to know that your product is going to completely match what he's got or completely match what his needs are, or you're going to find out that your product or service is not going to match at all what his situation is. Well, you want to know those things. So you want to know if what you have matches what he's what his situation is, or if what you have does not match his situation at all. You need to know those things. And that's what, the part of gaining rapport, asking questions, listening to the answers, showing concern, and it shouldn't be an act. It should be really real concern, because you should ask questions that you're interested in the answers. Don't ask questions that you're not interested in the answer. If he's got a fish and you don't fish, he's got a big fish on the wall, a sailfish, and you don't care at all about fishing, and don't start saying, well, tell me about the fish. I want to hear all about the fish. Why? Because if you do that, you're not interested in fishing, you know what's going to happen? He's going to be able to tell that you're not interested in fishing. Why? Because we are constantly giving off signals. Our facial features, we have muscles that we aren't even aware that we're using. We show disinterest. Okay? You don't want to do that. You want to ask questions about things you're interested in. If he happens to have a hobby or something that you're genuinely interested in, I'll listen. I want to hear about it. Partly because I'm interested, and partly because I know it'll help gain rapport. So there's that two-edged sword there. You want to ask about things that you're really interested in, but it also does help you in selling. I talk a little bit about gaining rapport, and a lot about what to do when you're gaining rapport, and the steps after gaining rapport, and the steps of selling and closing and presenting and answering objections and all of that. Of course, rapport, you're gaining rapport during the entire process. There's never a point where you're going, this is the beginning of gaining rapport, this is the end of gaining rapport. It's not like that at all. You're gaining rapport. You're gaining rapport when you're prospecting. You gain rapport when you're first calling that person, prospecting on the phone. That first impression is really about half of the selling process, and you're gaining rapport then. Then when you meet him, you're gaining rapport. Then when you're at the end of the selling process and you're closing the sale, you're gaining rapport. After you close the sale and you want to make sure that they understand the terms and all that, and you're going over all of that, now you're also gaining rapport. See? And you're gaining rapport the next time you see that customer to sell them the next thing. So gaining rapport is important, but it's not a step in the sale. Okay? Gaining rapport is listening, being concerned, not showing concern, but actually being concerned. I talk a lot about that in my book, One Call Closing, The Ultimate Guide to Closing Any Sale in One Call. It's on Amazon. Hope you read it. Thanks.